Hello. So today, for introductory computer programming, we're going to cover a second time the introductory subject of assignment statements, variable names, and values, as well as arithmetic expressions. Variable names are how you keep track of what we call values. Variable names allow you to hold on to values so you can use them later on in a computer program. So in order to use values, you need to make connections between variable names and values, as you'll see through practice. For beginner students, usually values are either numbers or a simple string of text. So the value can be the number 7. A value can be the number 3.14. A value can be the string of text black hat. It can include white space inside. A value can be the string of text the dog ran away. As you get more practice, you will see that a single value can sometimes be something more complicated than either a number or a string of text. A one value can be a large complex data structure that's more complicated than strings or numbers. For example, arrays. This is an array that contains the numbers 1, 17, and 3. It's a complex data structure that's a bit like a container. The array is treated, this array here, which includes square brackets to indicate that it contains it, the numbers inside. This array is treated by computer code as a single value, a single object, but it is a complex object that refers to or contains more simple values inside. Now let's look at assignment statements. Okay, here are 3 assignment statements. You use assignment statements to make connections between values and variable names. When variable names are attached to values, that means you keep track of that value so that you can use it later in the computer program for computations done later in the computer program. So variable names are kind of like doing a kind of bookkeeping. Think of it that way. They're kind of like a bookkeeping. They're kind of like putting pieces of tape on different pages in a book to keep track of certain pages. A bit like that. All right, so these are 3 assignment statements, and with each assignment statement, you have something on the left side and something on the right side. Here, the variable name x is now connected to the value dog ran away, a string. Here, the variable name y now refers to the value 10 because this expression computes to the number 10. And here, the variable name w now refers to y, which is 10 divided by 4, which is 2.5. Therefore, w now refers to the number 2.5. So these are assignment statements, and with an assignment statement you attach a value such as a number, a string of text, or more complex data structure such as an array. You attach a value to a variable name, and that's what an assignment statement is used for. The variable name is on the left side of the assignment statement. The value is on the right side of the assignment statement. Sometimes on the right side of the assignment statement, you have an expression, usually an arithmetic expression. And this expression computes to a single value. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 becomes a single value, the number 10. So 10 gets connected to the variable name y. Y divided by 4 you compute it. You substitute 10 for y, because that's what y refers to. 10 divided by 4 is the number 2.5. So w refers to the number 2.5. So both this and this are expressions that compute to a single number value. You can have expressions that are a lot like arithmetic expressions, but a little bit different, but still compute to a single value. And of course, you can have expressions that compute to a value that is not a number. We'll see that later on. But usually, when I say expressions, I usually mean an arithmetic expression until you see counterexamples later on. Okay, so you should practice with assignment statements. You should practice with assignment statements, variable names, and values with an interpreter either on the internet or on your local personal computer, so that you can practice with very small codes of, say, Ruby or Python, and practice with assignment statements with just single lines of code and see the output printed right back to you by either installing Python and Ruby interpreter or going to the appropriate website that allows you to practice with small single lines of code, stuff like this, just to experiment and practice with it. Now, once you have enough practice with assignment statements, variable names, and values, as well as arithmetic expressions, by looking at my YouTube videos on that subject matter, and by also practicing in an appropriate environment, if you have Python or Ruby installed on your computer, or you can go to a website that allows you to practice with that out on the internet if you don't have it installed. I'll come up with such internet addresses later on. Once you have enough practice with assignment statements, variable names, values, and arithmetic expressions, the next step is to start learning about if-else statements, So, an introduction to applied computer science and how to create computer programs that do all kinds of useful things. First, you learn about assignment statements, variable names, values, and arithmetic expressions. And then you use that inside bigger sections of computer code that are typically maintained and managed by using if-else statement, that's I-F-E-L-S-E, which typically looks like if, else if, else if, else if, else. You'll see later on. While statements, which loop, which do a certain section of code over and over again, and for statements, which also repeat a section of code over and over again, and also an introduction to functions. So you learn these building blocks: assignment statements, variable names, values, arithmetic expressions. Then you learn the next set of building blocks: if-else statements, while statements, for statements, and functions. And then you've got all the building blocks to start creating computer programs that can do a whole ton of different useful things in many different parts of the job market.